Welcome back to Skilled Nation, the show that's breaking down what it really means to build a career with your hands, your hustle, and your head. Today's episode is for the folks out there wondering, hey, is college really the only way? Well, spoiler alert, it's not. In fact, there's a faster, smarter, and more affordable path to a high-paying, in-demand career, and it starts with trade school. We're diving into what the education to employment pipeline really looks like right now, where you can get trained, get paid, and get working without a mountain of student debt. We're talking to a graduate of the refrigeration school, a former student who made the leap and hasn't looked back, someone who got the tools, mentorship, and tuition help they needed to level up. So if you're ready to stop waiting and start building your future, well, this episode's for you. I'm your host, Jimmy Rhodes, and today we're taking the fast lane from the classroom to the paycheck. So let's get to work. Our guest today is Michael Gabhart, the graduate of the refrigeration school who went from not knowing what came next to landing a high-paying career by starting his own business. He's the owner of Blue Line HVAC, and now he's making some serious income, building a lifestyle he's proud of, and proving that trade school is not a fallback, it's a launch pad. So if you're tired of the maybe someday mindset and ready to start building something real, well, stick around. This episode might just change your game plan. So let's get into it. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Jimmy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, take us back to day one. When you're making these decisions, where were you? Like, we're talking high school. When did you know your path? What were your questions? And how'd you make the choices you made?
So day one, I got out of prison.
Okay.
And decided I needed to do something with my life. And I just decided to make a change. I figured the best step was to get started in something official. So I got enrolled in RSI and just gave it all I got.
Okay. Well, now I got to imagine, I want to get into, the personal and the specifics, but coming out of prison, it's like, you talk about a hard reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you have a lot to process.
Mm-hmm.
So how supportive was it? How welcoming was it? What was that onboarding process like?
I'd like to mention Sharon at RSI. She's one of the office managers, I believe. She was super inviting, very, very kind. I told her my story, and she got me the application process started. And at that point, we just filled out all the paperwork, got started with the student loan process, which was super easy. There was a ton of support from Sharon and all the instructors at RSI. There's several that I can mention, Tom Morrow being one of them, Mike Orduno being another one. They're both amazing instructors at RSI, but by far the most support came from Sharon, Tom Morrow, and Mike Orduno.
All right, nice to get a shout out.
Yeah.
So when you talk about that, you're not just talking about the instruction, right? You're talking about mentorship in your entire life.
Correct.
How important was that?
I find it to be one of the pillars that brought me to where I'm at now. I mean, getting out of prison, not having anything to do, no responsibilities, no ties to anything. And I just saw RSI as like a beacon of opportunity, something that I could do to make my new start official instead of kind of just going along with the flow. As soon as I saw RSI, I got enrolled, and I've just, like you said, I haven't looked back since.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now, what's the toughest part of the program? I don't want to just make it all sound like sunshine and roses, right?
It's not.
Yeah. What were the challenges you faced, and how'd you power through?
Oh man, so challenges. I would say the hardest part about it is working a full-time job, paying your rent, and going to school all on the same day. So I would start my mornings at 5 a.m. I'd wake up, 6 a.m. I'd be in my work truck headed out to a job site for an AC unit. Um, my shift would end around 5 p.m. or as soon as I could get to school, which started at 6 p.m. The scheduling was super flexible, which I'm very appreciative of. I would start class at 6 p.m. and end at 10 p.m. And then there's many nights when I would go back to work
Oh,
for
wow.
for another few hours after that school. So
So, but wait, before you had your full certification, you were still able to work in the field?
yeah, so that's the really cool thing about it. As long as you're not handling refrigerant, you're able to do any type of work that's necessary on an HVAC unit. You just can't have your you can't work on any type of refrigerant without your certification. So I got hired on at an HVAC company the same week that I got accepted and enrolled into RSI.
Did they know you were taking
Yes,
the program? So that
yes,
probably helped, right?
absolutely.
And so now that takes care of rent, food, utilities, all that. So you can focus on working on your studies at RSI
A lot, a lot of studies.
and keeps the debt down too.
It keeps it
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not taking out loans to pay rent.
That's correct. Yep. Not like I would qualify.
Good
My
point.
my credit at the time was terrible, so there was no borrowing system there. Um, when I got out of prison, I had saved up a few $1,000s while working a full-time job in prison. When I got out, got my own apartment, got a job. It was just a normal job, and then about 2 weeks after working that job, I found RSI because I didn't want a normal 9 to 5. I didn't want to be an hourly rate type of guy.
Hmm.
So when I found RSI, I just decided to go for it. I enrolled and started applying to HVAC positions in Arizona. When they found out that I was enrolled in RSI, they hired me. So I kind of got given a pretty good opportunity, which I took full advantage of. I was able to call all my instructors whenever I had a question.
Oh yeah.
I remember my first capacitor I had to change out. I had no idea what the thing was. Thankfully, the instructors at RSI had their phone on them. I was able to call them. And I remember specifically it was Tom Morrow. I called him for my first capacitor change out. I said, "What am I looking at? What am I doing?" He said, "Do this, this, and this." And that unit's still running. So
It held up. So wait a minute. I want to go back. You said you basically your credit rating was
terrible. It was
terrible coming out of. So
yeah,
so when and yet you were able to get loan support through
through
RSI.
RSI. Yep.
So how did that work? Because I would think it'd be tough to get the loans, but do they help you out in that regard?
Absolutely. They took care of the entire loan process. As a matter of fact, I only owe $9,500 after my grants and scholarships.
Did they help you find those grants and
They did all
scholarships?
the work. They helped me find all of the scholarships, all of the grants. They set up the loan process. It was as easy as signing my name and date of birth, and I was enrolled in school.
All right. So now wait a minute. So you come out
Yeah.
with certification. You're only in for $9,500.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And so what's that first job income look like? I'm just trying to get the ratio
Okay.
here.
Okay. So I have an interesting story. So while I was in prison, I was doing sales for um I was doing sales for virtual office space and cybersecurity. So I had a phone and a computer in front of me, and I would call customers, medium, small, and enterprise sized businesses, and I would try to sell them cybersecurity and virtual office space. When I got out, when I got enrolled into school, the HVAC companies, they saw my history. They saw that I was enrolled in RSI. They accepted the fact that I had prior felonies. And when they found out that I had sales experience, it's kind of a plus in the field.
Hmm.
Instead of just fixing a unit, you're able to sell them more parts that they're going to need to help the efficiency of that unit and the longevity of that unit. What was your original question?
Well, I guess people think about going to college, right?
Okay.
And they think about coming out with, gosh, I've heard 100,000 plus dollars worth
Oh,
of debt,
yeah.
right? And
Okay,
you're
okay.
coming out with only 9,500,
That's right.
and yet you're making real money right from the start. So what kind of money were you making
My
with
first
only
week,
9,500 in
yeah.
debt?
My first week in HVAC, I think I made $1,200 on that Friday. The next week, it just progressively got better and better to a point where, I mean, my best paycheck was $10,960 in 1 week.
Okay, yeah, more than your loan
More than my
in a
loan in a
week.
week. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep.
So when did you have a sense that, wow, I've really made a good decision here? Was it that paycheck coming in and seeing all those zeros, or what?
It was my first big paycheck. I went from a steady 2 grand every week, 2,500, all the way up to $8,000.
Hmm.
And that first $8,000 check, I remember being on top of a commercial building and receiving a notification from my bank that a deposit has been made, and it was for like 8,700 and some change. And I remember just grabbing my chest with gratitude, just being so thankful that, I've been given this opportunity. And that was a life-changing moment when I saw 4 digits on that paycheck, when I saw $8,000 on a single deposit just for a single week's worth of work. That was the aha moment. That was the, oh my gosh, I just felt so grateful. Um, I had to remind myself that I'm currently working and to get back to work because I just got so excited that that money was there.
That's incredible. So now, what would you tell someone listening, or your younger self, right, about this path? Like, do you wish you had gotten to it sooner? Do you wish, like, what's the advice you'd give? Because at this point, you've come a long way, and we're going to get to how you started hung your own shingle. But just in terms of being in the path and doing the work, what would you tell your younger self or a young listener?
Get started immediately. There's no better time to do it than right now. Once you get started, start watching YouTube videos, learn in class, try to get a job in the field as well. If you do those 3 steps, learn on your own time, learn while you're in class, focus on your studies, ask questions, ask too many questions, be the annoying kid in class because you're
Mm.
asking too many questions. That's who I was. I ensured that everybody in that class knew exactly what we were talking about just because I would ask so many questions. I would just continuously ask questions to the instructor when he was explaining something. That way it didn't miss me, it didn't miss anybody else in that class. And then thirdly, get a job in the HVAC field as soon as you start school. Just apply. Apply everywhere. Arizona, summertime, it doesn't matter if you have zero experience. There's an HVAC company out there who is more than willing to hire somebody with no experience because they haven't formed any bad habits yet.
Oh, good point. Yeah, especially if they know you're going into the program
That's right.
at RSI, they're going to
Yep.
be like, well, this person's going to get training on the job and training at night.
Exactly.
All right, well, now let's drop the real bomb here is you eventually made a decision to start a business.
Yep.
How'd you get there? What's the thought process there?
So I started to see how much money companies were making because of what they were charging. And it was a no brainer for me. I don't need to make $10,000 profit on a single job. I would be perfectly fine with just a couple thousand to cover expenses, tax, insurance, so on and so forth. So I actually have started 2 companies. The first one wasn't sure what I was doing, but that's the beauty of it. You got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you fail, you'll learn something. So don't just try and give up. Try, and if you fail, try again. And if you fail, just keep trying. Eventually, you'll make it, no matter what. So the first company I made, I wasn't sure of legalities and how to process an invoice and how to send receipts. I didn't know the management part of it. I knew the I can fix your unit part. So I continued to learn the management side as I was going. The first name I didn't really like. So I didn't know you could change names at the time. So I just started another company. And that one was going good for a while. Um, but then it was a lot of work. It was almost too much work at a certain point. The hardest part, I would say, is keeping track of everything. And that's one of the most important parts because you get audited. And if you don't have any of your billing information or invoices, receipts, so on and so forth, your expenses, if you don't have all that in a row, you get shut down.
Yeah.
So on the third go, I was fortunate enough to meet up with somebody who has already been doing this for 35 years. He's retired. He's very retired. He's now a silent partner in the company. We talk, twice a week, but for the most part, I handle every aspect of the business from the technicians. They wake up in the morning, they need to know where to go, they need to know what to do. So I handle the calendar, the scheduling, billing, invoices, just literally from top to bottom. And only when it gets too much for me do I lean on my partner. Hey, I need this ordered. Hey, can you find this unit? We have an install over here. We need these parts. Can you get them ordered? So
you're doing more management now than putting hands on units.
way more management. And one of the parts of management is making sure your guys don't get too much overtime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. So
Look at you. You got to stay on top of it.
That's
It's almost
right.
like a different mindset than what you had out in the field.
exactly. When I was in the field, it was excruciating. It was painful, hot. I mean, sweat a lot. Now that I'm just doing management, one of the hardest things is the scheduling part. Who's going to go where?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the week, how many hours are they at?
So you got to keep track.
That's right.
It sounds like you're attacking this management side
That's correct.
with the same curiosity and just doggedness to find the answers and find the how
Yeah.
that you did the HVAC side.
Yes.
And it's nice to be a manager who's actually walked the shop floor. Like when your guys have a question, they know you know.
Yep.
So let's talk about the company. By the way, we should remind our listeners that Michael Gabbert is our guest. He is a RSI graduate, and the company we're talking about is Blue Line HVAC.
That's correct.
How's it doing? How's the company doing? What's that growth look like? What's the revenue looking like? Was it a slow start? Was it a fast start? Tell me about that.
So the start of the company was extremely quick. I was working for a company when I came across a large chain of gas stations located across the entire state of Arizona. There's none in the metropolitan area, but places like Tucson, Flagstaff, Sedona, Camp Verde, Lake Havasu, just all on the outskirts of Arizona. I was doing work for them.
Mm-hmm.
The company I was working for wasn't treating me right. So I quit.
This is so much the origin story of so many small businesses, right?
Yep.
You see what not to do and you say, I'm going to go do it right.
That's right. I quit and we started the company in the valley here. We're doing just small installs on residential houses. I had a couple commercial contracts here in the valley, just because I'm a great talker. I love to go around and talk to people. I'm great at networking. But the numbers weren't big yet. So we were clearing probably around 40,000 a month. I know it's a big
You're
number.
that's not big. That's a big number to me.
Yeah, it was big then, and now it's a small number. So at this
Looking
point,
back from where you are now.
from where I'm at now, we're doing well over 2.5 million a year.
2.5 million a year.
Yeah,
All right. How old is this company?
a year.
So a year in to
Yeah.
starting this company, Your revenue is at 2.5 million
Yeah.
annually.
Yep. 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 It'll be over 2.5 million by the end of this year.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm questioning all my life choices right now, Michael.
Don't. It's hard. It's hot.
What's hard about it? Okay, you hear that number. Let's reality check it.
Okay.
Okay, you hear that number and it sounds very enticing, but you're saying there's challenges. What are those?
So one of the challenges is getting the company to that point.
Mm-hmm.
As the owner, you have to do 100% of the work until you can afford to hire other people.
Okay.
So for me, that was a 35-hour shift straight, a 31-hour shift straight, multiple 24-hour shifts, so many I can't count,
Wow.
18 hours daily. I mean, the hours are intense. I wasn't home for 2 weeks at a time, literally just working constantly, trying to stay on top of these contracts. And I was finally at a point where I could afford to purchase 3 vehicles and hire 3 more guys. And that's exactly what I did.
And when you look back on those difficult times from where you are now and the success you're enjoying now, was it worth it?
100% worth it.
Why?
At this point, I only have to deal with the headaches of managing a company. I'm home all day long with my family. I don't have to go anywhere. I can handle all of my business from my phone, which is on silent right now. Otherwise, it would be going off like every 30 seconds.
We
So,
appreciate that.
yeah, of course.
So, are you an outlier though? If somebody's listening to this and they're like, I couldn't do that. I mean,
You could do it.
how accessible is this to a listener?
It's extremely accessible. You could go to any RSI campus, walk inside without an appointment, and talk to the front desk and say, I'm interested in learning about this school, or I want to start right now. How do I do this? And they'll hand you an application. And then you'll talk to a student management counselor, or one of the office staff. You'll talk to one of the office staff, and at that point, they'll get you enrolled. They'll get the loan process started for your intuition. They'll handle all of it. It's, as I said, almost as easy as signing your first and last name with a date of birth. And
Just that simple.
Yep.
So just go in, take that first step.
Just go in. Just get it started. The worst, I mean, they won't tell you no. They won't tell you no.
All right, our guest is Michael Gabart. He is the RSI grad who started a very successful business called Blue Line HVAC. And it's time for a quick Q&A, a little bit of a speed round. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, Michael, let's go. What's the weirdest thing you've ever had to fix on the job?
I have had to fix an abnormally amount of cat, dog, and other creature hair. Yeah, it was, I don't want to be rude, but that was so disgusting. These people didn't have a filter.
Okay.
They just didn't replace their filter, and it was just completely clogged with hair, cat hair, dog hair, all kinds of animal hair. And
I hope you're not allergic.
I'm not. No, thank God.
That sounds disgusting. All right, next question. What is one tool in your kit you won't ever let anyone borrow?
My Bluetooth gauges. I can diagnose anything, any problem with your unit with my Bluetooth gauges. They hook up to my phone. I see everything digital in real time. I don't have to do any math whatsoever. Pressures, saturation temperatures, line temperatures, superheat, and subcool, they're all on your phone.
And so wait, you clip these somewhere onto the unit?
That's right. Yeah.
And it sends a Bluetooth signal back to an app?
That's correct.
That sounds amazing. I mean, let's call it out. What's the app? You remember?
It's called Workforce. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Phone's coming out.
It's a field piece app, and it is called Job Link.
What's it called?
Job Link.
Job Link. All right.
Yes.
I smell a sponsorship on its way
Yeah,
right
it
about
is.
now. All right. If your job were a video game, what would be your power up?
My job was a video game. What would be my power up?
I ask deep questions, Michael.
How would you say the ability to know what it is as soon as you get there? The
Oh,
intuition?
the
What is that?
intuition, yeah,
I
yeah.
believe it would
So
be
you just come
intuition.
there and you get a gut feeling, you know where to go?
It has never been wrong.
Okay.
It has never been wrong. Every single time I get to a job site and I take a look at a unit, I know exactly what's wrong with it. It's a superpower. It is what it is.
That's a good superpower to have.
It
Because
is.
that means you're more efficient
Yes.
and you're still billing, so your ratio of time to billing
Yes.
is very favorable.
Correct.
This has been a great conversation. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that wraps up episode 2 of Skilled Nation. Big thanks to Michael Gabbert from Blue Line HVAC for keeping it real and showing us what's possible when you bet on yourself and go all in on the trades. From day one in training to building a solid future, his story proves that trade school isn't a backup plan. It's a fast track to opportunity, freedom, and success that doesn't come with a lifetime of student debts. If today's episode lit a fire or got you thinking about your next move, well, don't stop here. Head over to rsi.edu or tws.edu to check out scholarship opportunities, hands-on programs, and training that gets you job ready fast. It's a way of life, and it's a badge of honor. Hey, don't forget to also hit like, share, subscribe, and follow. That way you won't miss episode 3, where we dig into what's in your toolbox, what a typical day looks like, and what others really need to know, but just haven't thought to ask. Until next time, keep grinding, stay curious, and build something you're proud of. This is Skilled Nation.